Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Ram Hare. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo. Gaur Brahmanandi. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Can you sing Jai Radha Madhava? Yeah.
can all say the mantras together, the pranam mantras. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjena Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padang Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarupyasya Kripa Sindhuvyevacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so today's class is on Prabhupada's humility and his greatness. So before I get into today's class, how many were there in the last Prabhupada class we had? We had about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Can they raise their hands? How many attended the previous Prabhupada class? Oh, not too many. Too many. Does anybody remember what was the theme? Like what were we looking? Compassion. Compassion, yes. So the last Prabhupada class we looked at Prabhupada's one of his qualities, which was compassion, and we looked at different memories in regards to that. So today's Prabhupada's class, the focus will be on 2 of his qualities. One is humility and his greatness. So humility, we know, humility is, considering ourselves servants of Krishna, taking that humble position. But along with that, we'll also see his greatness, like why he is such a special personality. Like how is he different from other acharyas? And how Krishna empowered him to make this movement possible. I mean, if we just think in terms of very material terms, in a very short span, which was around 11 years or so, he opened 108 temples, and even in places where people don't even know about Krishna. He opened temples in New Zealand, in Australia, in US, in Sweden, and all these places, people don't know Krishna in general. So how did he do that? Because he was specially empowered by Krishna, and so through some of the memories we'll try to see how what is his actual position, so to say. If we want to get a little technical, in the Bhagavatam it's written that there is something called the Satyaves avatar. Satyaves avatar means when Krishna takes a jivatma, like a spirit soul, and gives them special powers to accomplish something very difficult. So that's called a Satyaves avatar. So Prabhupada is considered to be a Satyaves avatar, according to Srimad Bhagavatam. So we'll see some memories from Prabhupada, and some of them are very special memories, not very well known. And so before we get to see the memories, I want to give a little bit of a timeline so that as you're seeing these memories, you can kind of map when it happened. So if we look at Prabhupada's timeline, Prabhupada was born in 1896. So we had talked last class. I had a short quiz, which many failed. So, but Prabhupada was born in 1896, and Prabhupada got initiation from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, his guru, in 1933. So 1896, then 1933. 1936 is when Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj leaves the planet. His guru leaves the planet, which was a very difficult moment for Prabhupada. He really felt the separation towards the end of 1936, so sometime in December. And then Prabhupada comes to US in 1965. And 1966 is when he incorporates ISKCON as a legal entity in New York, 1966. And then 1977 is when he leaves the planet. So usually when we see recollections of the devotees, it's usually between that period of 1966 to 1977, because that's when he was doing all of this active preaching, 66 to 77, and that's when he went around the world 14 times, and he opened the 108 temples. And the pastimes before 1965 or 66 is not so well known. But today we're going to see some of those special pastimes. The pastimes especially between that 1936 to 1965. As we know from Lilamrta that before Prabhupada left for the US, he had spent almost a decade in Vrindavan, in the Radha Damodar temple. And really his purpose for spending that period in the Radha Damodar temple was, before when Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj passed away, left the planet, Maharaj had given Prabhupada one very special instruction, that go to the West and preach. And Prabhupada had taken that instruction very seriously. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj had given this instruction to all of his disciples, not just Prabhupada, but many. And some even tried to preach. They went to London and preached, but the success was kind of limited. But Prabhupada had taken it very seriously, and he was really meditating how to make it happen. Because we have to kind of take this into context. This was pre-iPhone, pre-internet, pre-social media, even before telephones were that common. So that means this is a period where communication was not that advanced. So if you're sitting, like now when I'm sitting in US, I know what's happening in India. I just have to go to the internet and look at the news. But back then there was very limited communication. Like the most common method of communication was still letters. Like people used to write letters and send them. So that means we have to kind of take it into context. When Prabhupada was conceiving to go to US, the connectivity between the different parts of the world was limited. So for him it was a very, very difficult task. It was by no means a very easy task. And again, he's trying to plant Krishna consciousness in a place where people don't even know who is Krishna. Preaching in India is different. Even a child, 5-year-old child knows who is Krishna, but in the West, people don't even have. So when he really felt the difficulty of the task, he spent those decade or so in Vrindavan really praying to the Goswamis, the Acharyas, to give him that strength. And so we'll get a little bit of a sneak peek here. And that's when we see really his humility at one end, but we also see the great personality he is. Like we truly get to, or at least get a sneak peek of how great of a personality he is. So with that, we can start the videos. So is the lighting fine? Okay. So, I have like 5 videos here. The first one is by Dhanavir Swami Maharaj. I actually lived in this Maharaj's ashram for 1 week, so I actually know him on a very personal level. So this is again this memory is still in the U.S. So we'll keep switching back between U.S. and India, like very early memories. So let's see if the volume comes.
There were call-ins on this show, and they were all Christians. I was very impressed, very pleased with that. It was an interview, and there were call-ins on this show, and they were all Christians, and they were all asking about, what about Christianity, and what is your feeling about Christ? And Prabhupada said, yes, there's no difference. It is not sectarian. We are teaching the same thing, how to love God. He said, but we are giving more information, God's name and address, his mother's name, where he lives,
1530.
and his mother's name, and how you can go there. So you can just clap your hands and chant Hare Krishna, chanting.
Yeah.
We went to one engagement with Srila Prabhupada. This was very, very impressive. He was supposed to be on television. It was a television show, and we went there, and there was a mix-up. And somehow or other, there was some confusion, and they were not prepared to have Srila Prabhupada on the television show. So there we were at the studio, at the television station, and Prabhupada was standing there, and we had nothing to do. And just then a young man, early 20s, came up and said, well, I have a radio show that I conduct here, and I would be very happy to interview the Swami on my radio show, if he would like to. And Prabhupada said yes. So we went up to his little studio. It was in the same building. It was just myself, Srila Prabhupada, and the interviewer. And he was very respectful. He really had a lot of respect for Prabhupada. And he was asking nice questions. Prabhupada was sitting on a stool, a kind of a high stool. That's all he had in there. And so at one point, the young man asked, so why did you come to America? And Prabhupada said, to explain to people about what they have forgotten, love of God. And the young man said, does that mean that you're the Messiah? And Prabhupada said, yes. And the young man took everything that Prabhupada said very seriously. That's why he asked if he was the Messiah. He thought, well, if you've come to teach about love of God, then you must be the Messiah. And Prabhupada said, yes, I'm the Messiah. And he said, who sent you? And Prabhupada said, my Guru Maharaj asked me to come. So that was very interesting, because on one hand he was saying, yes, I'm the Messiah, the Savior of all the people, but not because God sent me, but because my spiritual master sent me to do this. So the young man was very impressed, very pleased with that.
Yeah, I wanted to start with this video because it really shows the humility of Prabhupada. Like Prabhupada, although he, directly empowered by Krishna, but whenever there was this moments, he would always try to give the glory to his spiritual master or to the Lord. So, it's a fun little story I wanted to start off with, just to put into context. Like he was always so humble, even though he was such a great personality. Okay, so we'll go to the next one, and the next one is this story. Atma Tattva Prabhu, who is a Prabhupada disciple, and after Prabhupada left, he kept preaching a lot. And he used to do a lot of book distributions in India. And while doing a lot of preaching in India, he used to come up with very interesting people who had association of Prabhupada even before he went to the US. And he has many interesting stories to share about Prabhupada. So this one is a very interesting story which shows, again, like why Prabhupada is such a great personality. So let's hear from Prabhu.
Prabhupada took him to the spiritual world. So I had a copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita where there is a picture of Prabhupada holding a champak flower like this with a lot of sandalwood paste, the flower garland, and he's holding the flower and he's looking like this. So that was the only book I had where I could show him, some work of ISKCON. Other Bhagavatam volumes have been sold and we have to get back to Bangalore. So I brought that book with me and I went to meet him because he's the chief of the 3000. So I went and showed him some things about ISKCON and then showed him this picture that this is our Guru Maharaj. He has translated these books. So he looked at that picture for a while and he brought some things from his little box, some thread and some things like that, and he was measuring Prabhupada's forehead and his ears and things like that. It took about 10-15 minutes and then he shook his head and he said that all the 4 Vaishnavacharyas said in one person. So then he looked at me and he said, you know that we are Shaivites and because we are not impersonalists, so we have nothing opposite to Vaishnava Sampradaya. But we are worshippers of Shiva. So we do bhakti to Shiva in person. And he said, these Vaishnava Sampradayas, all the 4 acharyas, if they come in one body, that is how this person's features are. And he said, I'm an expert in Samudrika Lakshana Sastra. I can see from here. I wish you have showed me a full picture. So then I had a picture that I was worshipping, so I took that picture out and I showed him. And he again went on, and he has his lens. And he did another study, then he said that I was not wrong. He said, they are all working through this person. Then he said, you are very fortunate to be with him. Then he said that some movement like that, this is what I would like to be in my next life. So then I said, but I thought your ultimate is to go to Kailash. Then he said, yes, if I go there, and Kailash exists for a long time, so I can always tell Lord Shiva, and I want to join some movement like this, and I want to spread dharma everywhere. Then he was very happy and he said that, you please give this book to me. I want to keep this, because this has given me the highest experience of studying a person's feature. So I want to keep this book with me. So I gave it to him as a complimentary copy.
So that was a pretty interesting point. So do people know what the 4 sampradayas are? The 4 Vaishnava sampradayas? Close, but not exact. Does anybody know? Let me see if my students remember. Brahma Sampradaya, Lakshmi Sampradaya, what was that? Rudra Sampradaya? There is a 4th one. Kumara Sampradaya. So my students know. We had just covered this. So when we talk about Vaishnava Sampradayas, there are 4 Sampradayas. And the whole point of the Sampradayas, it starts with Krishna. So at the very beginning of time, Krishna gave this knowledge to 4 entities. So one was Brahma, Lord Brahma. One was Shiva, Rudra, Lord Shiva. One was Lakshmi, Lakshmi Devi. And then there are the 4 Kumaras. So at the very beginning of time, the transcendental knowledge was given to these 4 very elevated entities. And then, like one by one, like they would teach their student, then the student would become a guru, and then in this unbroken chain of disciplic succession, this knowledge would come down. And one of the reasons why I distributed the Bhagavad Gita is, so if people open to the chapter 1, verse 1. So if everyone can open to chapter 1, verse 1 in the Bhagavad Gita. So in my Bhagavad Gita, it's page number 33. Everyone's is a little different. So if people open to chapter 1, verse 1, before the verse starts, on the page adjacent to that, you can see the disciplic succession. Does everybody see there are 32 names there? Like those who have the hard copy, there are 32 names. It's titled the disciplic succession on the page that's facing the verse 1. Like how many of you see it? Okay, Mataji sees. So you saw it, yeah. So if you see that disciplic succession, it shows first is Lord Krishna, second is Brahma. So that's why our sampradaya is the Brahma sampradaya. Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya sampradaya. Because ours starts from Brahma. Similarly, there is Sri sampradaya, which is the Lakshmi sampradaya. Then there is the Rudra, which is the Shiva, and then there is the Kumar sampradaya. Yeah, the Kumaras. So if you see in our sampradaya, number 2 is Brahma, Narad, Vyas. Then when you go to number 22, there is Lord Chaitanya. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in our sampradaya, which is why we worship him, both because he's in our sampradaya and also he's a incarnation of Lord Krishna. And then number 23 is Rupa Goswami. So that's our Goswami. The 6 Goswamis are number 23 and 24. And then number 32 is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So this is how you make sure that the knowledge is coming in a proper way. That it should come in an unbroken chain of disciplic succession all the way tracing back to Krishna. So here this pastime specifically is saying that there are 4 sampradayas. And each sampradaya has their own sampradaya guru. But Prabhupada is this very special personality, when he did all those measurements. He found that all the 4 sampradaya gurus are acting through Prabhupada. That's why we can see such a potency in Prabhupada. He's not just another acharya, he's a very special acharya. So now with this, we'll go to the third video. And this video is really the very early days, before Prabhupada had come to ISKCON. So this is during the Radha. No, that one is the last one. This one is, this is during Kumbh Mela. So this is 1976. Sorry, I take it back. So this memory is during 1976 when Prabhupada went to Kumbh Mela. As you know, Kumbh Mela happens once in 12 years. So in 76, Prabhupada goes to Kumbh Mela, and this is the memory over there.
With others. In Allahabad, when Prabhupada was there in the Kumbh Mela, one Ramanandi, a Brahmin, came to see him. During the traveling of Bullock cart, we have stayed in his house, so we invited him to come to Allahabad. He wanted to know when Prabhupada will be in India, and he was there in Allahabad, so he has come to see. It was an Ekadasi day, and the Kumbh Snan is going to be happening next day. And that day is the first Snan, first bathing, and then second bathing is going to happen. So Prabhupada is sitting, stretching his legs under his desk like this, and his feet are like that, and he is sitting back like that. So it's Ekadasi. So Prabhupada is talking about Ekadasi. And then Prabhupada says, Ekadasi, lotus feet fried in ghee. You see, that is very good for Ekadasi. And he closing his eyes and shaking his head like lotus seed fried in ghee. It was the best thing for Ekadasi. So somebody immediately went to arrange that just by hearing it, running out to the market. Kumbh Mela is full with lakhs of people. 2 minutes later, this man arrives, this Ramanandi Tilak, which is young son, maybe 9 years old. He comes and pays obeisances and he sits there and he has a cloth tied up on his shoulder. And then he puts on Prabhupada's desk and he opens it. And Prabhupada looks at it and he puts his hand like this. The whole hand like that, and then like eating that. And then he said, just see, there was lotus seed fried in ghee. He just said it 2 minutes before. And he said, just see, it has come. And then he looks at the Ramananda, he said, how are you? Prabhupada used to stay in a house of a Bengali in Ferozbad, one town there in UP. It's called Gaurnitai Bhavan. It's a Bengali, they have Gaurnitai deities at home, and this man happens to be their family priest. Even though he's a Ramanandi, he did the Gaurnitai worship for them. And he lives in a village. He has his young son. So Prabhupada takes little and then gives out like that. Then he said, so you haven't taken bath in the confluence? In Hindi, he's saying, in Sangam, you haven't taken bath? He says, Swamiji, I have come to take bath in Sangam. Then the next thing he does is he's got a plate, he's got a pot, and he puts the plate under Prabhupada's feet, just like this. And I was just behind Prabhupada's seat. So I could see that when he put the plate, Prabhupada just adjusted his feet on the plate. Like putting his feet on his plate. And the next thing is he has got the Sangam water in his pot. And then he bathes Prabhupada's feet. And like this. And then he's chanting his mantras and he's bathing Prabhupada's feet and Prabhupada looking at him, big smile on his face. And during that time, it was very rare to get Prabhupada Charanamrita. We're talking of 77, So it's like it's 76 December. So everybody is just looking at it, and then so he takes the water and puts on his head and then drinks, and then he sprinkles on everybody. Then he says, your feet is the actual Sangam. Then he says, what will we get in bathing that Sangam? Then he shakes his head and he says, actually, because your feet will make this Ganges purified, and I know you are not going there. You won't go there, so I brought the Ganga here. So he said, part of it I will mix in the Ganga. And then Prabhupada is smiling like that. Then he said, give me your son. Says, I will make him Acharya. So then the man says, he is yours, Swamiji. You can take him anytime. Prabhupada says, no, any time means no time. You give him now. I will make him Acharya. So then he said, Swamiji, he is just learning grammar now in Sanskrit. So to study the bhashyas, the commentaries, he must know some grammar. Once his Vyakaran is over, then I will hand him over to you. He is yours. And Prabhupada is insisting. He says, no, what grammar? You don't need grammar. You give him to me. I will make him Acharya. Now this was the 4th time Prabhupada was saying it. Then this man said, Swamiji, I am not saying no. Everything mine is yours. He said, but he is too small. He will be only a trouble for you. So just few more years, I will hand him over to you. Okay. Theek hai. Then he extended his hand like this and rubbed this boy's head like that. And then there were other visitors, the All India radio was coming, so, this man left. And then so many years passed by, and I'm taking Gurukul boys to Allahabad at the Kumbh Mela for them to see the different groups and akhadas and learn something, laboratory work. So I have about 10 Gurukul.
This is the second half of that pastime. Like this is many years later. So this happened when Prabhupada, and now Prabhu is saying, when he becomes a teacher and he's taking Gurukul boys. So this is at least 10-15 years later.
Boys with me, and I have heard during that time that the Ramananda Sampradaya, after so many years, they were broken into lot of sects, and especially the sadhu sect of their group was not interacting with the other groups. But that year I heard that they have elected one leader for their sampradaya, for the whole sampradaya, which was like, difficult to believe. They will never come together. They were all fighting. And now they have selected one man as the supremo of all their sect. So there was a huge Ramananda stall there in the camp. So I told the boys that you should see this, because God knows tomorrow one of you may be becoming a guru. So you should see this, how this is being done. He has united this whole sampradaya. It is very unheard of. And I heard that he's a very young sannyasi. So we will go and have his darshan. So we went to see him. And because I had South Americans and Australians, so we were given a little priority. So we go forward, and he was sitting with the heads of the different akhadas there. There was about 100 people there. They were all men with long beards and matted locks of hair, and they were all like 3 times elder than him. This very young man sitting there on the big seat, and few people doing chamara for him. And so we went in and we paid obeisances, and one devotee, one Gurukul boy, Prem Vikas from South America, loudly chanted the Sannyas Sukta, which is a tradition to greet sannyasis. And as he started chanting, everybody just became silent. And this Maharaj, young Maharaj, was sitting there, and then he heard it. And then after he finished chanting, I heard him saying, there's no microphone or anything, and everybody is silent. And I just heard him saying, and I heard it was a poetry. He's composing a poetry straight there in Sanskrit. And that was about Prabhupada. So he's saying, the Acharya of the Hare Krishna movement, he starts like that. Then he says that if I say, like, this is the sloka he has composed, he said that if I say that neither in the past nor in the future, if I say this word, that neither in the past nor in the future, there will be an Acharya equal to him, I won't be committing an offense to the founder of my line, who is Ramananda. Then he says, because Ramananda has predicted that Vishnu worship will spread around the world, and it will be done in a very easy way, and the whole world will take to it. And then he said that he has done in his commentary a prediction about this. Then he said, and as he was talking, I just realized this was that same small boy who Prabhupada just rubbed his head like this. And he was telling him, are you the same person? I can hear his voice, and then I saw him moving. I said, but this is the same person. So then he finished that. That is where this slogan came from. Nacha bhuto na bhavishyati. We print in our Centennial magazine. That was his composition. Nacha bhuto na bhavishyati. Neither in the past nor in the future. So then he finished the sloka, 4 slokas on Prabhupada glorification. It ended with the glorification of Jagannath. And then he called each boy separately and gave them pavitrams and all the honors that he gives to the gurus in his line. He gave them each one. You take this, like that. And then I went up. Then he looked at me and he said, Atma Tattva Prabhu, you remember me? And then he said, you used to carry me on your back. When we were staying in his house, that was the thing. He was calling Loknath Maharaj old man because he had this white hair. So I was carrying him on my back. I was a brahmachari, carrying this boy on my back. So he remembered that. Then he said that Prabhupada spoke about becoming Acharya. And then he said, my father passed away. He never brought me to the Hare Krishna movement. But he told me that I have to study the Shankara Bhashya because that is what I have to defeat. So to study that, he said that was his last wish. So I had to fulfill that. So I went to Banaras. I stayed with the Mayavadis and I studied the commentary of Shankara for 4 years. And he said it was so painful for me. And then I came study my Acharya's commentary. And then I saw that the whole sampradaya is broken like this. So I thought that I have the blessings of Prabhupada. So maybe I could unite them. So he said, I tried for 9 years and this year it happened. That we are all connected together now. So and he said, this is all the blessings of your Guru Maharaj. And he told everybody. And he said, Ramananda, he wrote a commentary. He said, that's right. Then he said that, but what Ramananda predicted is that as long as you are all broken like this, he said, we will never be able to do. Then he said, we don't have to do because it's already been done. These people are done, we just have to join them, and then we go and preach with them. And he was preaching to them using us as the catalyst there. He said, look at this movement they are spreading around the world. And that was
So we see like how Prabhupada impacted like another sampradaya, not even like the ISKCON, this is Ramananda sampradaya, and how like just by Prabhupada's like blessings, somebody is able to accomplish so much. Like, as Prabhu is telling, Atma Tattva Prabhu is telling, like it is so difficult to bring those different groups together. And at a very young age, the sannyasi was able to bring it together because of Prabhupada's blessings. And, he glorifies, like, Nacha bhuto na bhavishyati. Like, neither in the past nor in the future will exist such a great acharya. So, that's a very nice memory. Now we'll hear a memory from Nanda Kumar Prabhu, who was a personal servant of Prabhupada, and he spent a lot of personal association with Prabhupada. And when you hang out with Prabhupada, like especially as a personal servant, you get to see all the small things a person does during the day. So that means like if a person is like just a fake, then you can catch it. But if you're spending like almost 16 to 18 hours of your day with the personal servant, so the personal servant can really see what the mood of that person is. So Nanda Kumar Prabhu was a personal servant of Prabhupada, and he captures Prabhupada's mood with this particular memory. So let's see this one.
Walking on the beach. One day he was walking along and a wave that was particularly big broke and came up, and he had to jump and dance out of the way. And I said, Srila Prabhupada, even the ocean wants to touch your lotus feet. And he laughed, and I don't remember his exact words, but it was very, very humble. He took that glory that had been given to him and turned it to Krishna. I saw him do that so many times, so many times. A couple of times in the temple in Los Angeles. Once on his birthday, he came in from his morning walk and walked in, paid his obeisances to the deities, and went and sat on the Vyasasana, and one by one the devotees spoke about the glories of Prabhupada. And of course everyone was speaking how he had saved their lives and how he was saving the world by bringing Krishna consciousness. And he just listened, he accepted with his eyes closed. He was just listening. And then when the last person had spoken and Prabhupada was going to speak, it was a very long silence. He was very quiet for a long time. And you could have heard a pin drop. And you could see the ecstatic symptoms in his body that he was not allowing to fully manifest. But there was some tears coming and he was shivering. And he said, I thank you, when he finally spoke, he said, I thank you all so much for your praise and how much you show your love for me. He said, but truly I have to say that I am just the servant of my beloved Guru Maharaj. And all this is happening by his grace. I am simply his servant, and I'm trying to do what he asked me to do. And it is his grace that is allowing this to happen. And then he stopped, and there was more tears. And then he said, and actually, all of you are my gurus. He said, my Guru Maharaj has given me this service to do, and I came here with very little, and it is because of you that this is going on. So I offer you my respects as my gurus. When we were traveling in India, at one...
So again, this memory, we kind of get to see the humility of Prabhupada, at every moment. Even though he's such a great personality, but whenever people glorify him, he gives back the glory back to his guru, or back to the devotees, or back to Krishna. So this is the final memory we'll see, and this is a very special memory. This is not a very well-known memory. I was kind of talking about the timeline of Prabhupada, and I talked about how before coming to US, almost 10 years or even more, he spent at the Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan, where he was making a lot of deep prayers, asking to give him the strength. Because as we all know, when Prabhupada was coming to US, he was already about to reach 70 years old. So not only is he's getting into a foreign land, he's trying to preach something that is not well known, but even his health is not on his side, because he's already getting close to 70. And as we know, on the trip to US, on the ship, he got 2 heart attacks, which almost killed him. So he already knew the challenge he was getting into, that if he were to come to the West. So which is why before he comes to the West, he spends almost a decade praying to the Goswamis, praying to his guru, to give him the strength to accomplish a task that's almost impossible. So this is from that time, from that Radha Damodar, during his period in Radha Damodar. So this Mataji, Mula Prakriti Mataji, what she did was she went to Vrindavan and she interviewed a lot of those devotees in Vrindavan who had associated with Prabhupada during that era, and captures that memory here. So it's a very sweet memory.
And then he told another very sweet story. He said that then after that he became attracted to Srila Prabhupada.
And this one starts from 34.
What I'm seeing is the hurts to remember his beautiful face and how, and I remember very, very blissful. And I'm feeling very, very fortunate that he was my friend. That he was a friend to me. So this was told to us by an old gentleman, Vaishnav, who lives just a couple of doors down from Radha Damodar, in one of those houses that front on the back there. They kind of close in on the back of Rupa Goswami's Samadhi area. His name is Hridayananda Das Babaji. And we found him because the devotee who takes care of Srila Prabhupada's rooms, I asked him to keep an eye out, and he said this old man used to come all the time and cry in front of Prabhupada's murti there. And so we followed him home, and we found out, so we asked him, in his little room. His room was just completely cluttered and full of, books, Krishna conscious books. And when we asked him if he had any memories that he could tell us about Srila Prabhupada, he immediately began to weep, just like a baby, just weeping. And then he said, he goes, I've lived in Vrindavan. He says, I'm like 89 years old or something. I've lived in Vrindavan my whole life, and never, ever in my whole years that I've lived here have I seen anyone do sadhana like him. He said, and when I found out that Nityananda Prabhu had chosen him to go and break open the storehouse of love of God in the world, he goes, I wasn't at all surprised. So he said, well, what were those memories? What do you remember? He had a few memories. And the first one was, he said, he used to live in that room, and he always lived in that same room. He never moved from that room. And he said he knew that Srila Prabhupada lived nearby him, and he always saw him going in and out of Radha Damodar and saw him going on parikrama around Vrindavan, but he was very grave. Prabhupada was very grave, he said, and very not social, just very walking and chanting. And he said even when he used to go to Radha Damodar sometimes to do parikrama, Srila Prabhupada would be either on the veranda there or in his rooms just writing and chanting, and he never wanted to disturb him. So he knew who he was, but didn't ever spoken with him or anything. And he noticed that some evenings in the middle of the night, not evening, but in the middle of the night, he would hear this voice coming from the courtyard of Rupa Goswami's Samadhi. And it would be like a crying voice, calling out kind of in this very pathetic tone. And it would go for quite a while in the night. But he said he was usually sleeping and he didn't go to investigate what it was. And he heard it quite regularly. And then he said one night, he heard that again, and it was a full moon, and he wasn't that sleepy, and he decided to go up the stairs and go up to the roof. And so he was standing on the roof in the middle of the night, and he was looking down into the courtyard. And what he saw by Rupa Goswami's Bhajan Kutir and Samadhi was, he saw our Srila Prabhupada, and he was bending down in front of the Samadhi, and he had a broom, like a broom made out of straw. And he was sweeping there in that courtyard, and as he was sweeping, he was crying. And he was calling out, "Hey Gurudev, hey Gurudev, give me your mercy, give me your mercy. Hey Rup, hey Sanatan, give me your mercy, please give me your mercy. Without your mercy, how can I do what you have asked me to do?" And he said then he realized that all those times that he had heard that in the middle of the night, that was our Srila Prabhupada performing one aspect of his sadhana there, in that very special place for him.
Yep. So when we go to visit Vrindavan, those who have the opportunity, we should try to visit that Radha Damodar temple that's there. It's a very special temple for especially ISKCON devotees, because that's where Prabhupada spent almost 10 years of his life there trying to... he even wrote the first 3 cantos of the Srimad Bhagavatam over there before he came to the US, and he really did some very deep sadhana there so that he could accomplish such a difficult task. So those were the 5 memories I had, and my goal of showing these 5 memories was kind of to display both, at one hand, his very extraordinary personality, especially empowered by Krishna, but at the same time, he's always so humble. Like, if I had those powers, I would probably be showing off all those powers, So it's very hard to think that somebody, such an extraordinary personality coming to US and, dealing with people who, like hippies, who were drunk and who had so much shortcomings. They were the lowest of the lowest in the socio-economic chain, if you want to think about it, like homeless people. And but Prabhupada was willing to reach out to them, bring them up to the platform of where they could be managers and leaders of such a well-functioning society. So that's how much potency Prabhupada has. So with that, I'll conclude this section, and I want to hear if anyone has any questions or realizations, especially realizations after watching these 5 memories.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for showing these wonderful memories, really wonderful. So just a couple of things, like the temple of Sri Radha Damodar in Vrindavan. So if we get a chance to go there, the priests there are so respectful to Srila Prabhupada, and because of him to the whole ISKCON community. When they see you, they have a big smile, and they will take pictures with you. Although they are not really ISKCON, but they still have so much respect for Srila Prabhupada. So that is another proof what Srila Prabhupada has done. And another thing, we always remind each other what Srila Prabhupada has done. So a few days back I was listening to a devotee, and he was mentioning, think about you coming to a foreign land and you don't even know if you have to go to right or left. That's how Srila Prabhupada's situation was. He just came and he didn't even know whether he has to go right or left. And he did single-handedly everything. So just the compassion and mercy of Srila Prabhupada, that why he did it. If we go somewhere, how much we planned, months before. So thank you for bringing these memories. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, like, even when we do our preaching, like we do preaching to, like what we would say, like normal people. But Prabhupada was preaching to people who were like, addicted to drugs, who were homeless, those who didn't have any financial standings, and they didn't have like many of the so-called good habits that we have, so that we can enter into Krishna consciousness. But he was able to lift them up. So yeah, it's just unbelievable.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare
so
Krishna.
this is like kind of like a realization, you could say. So this is kind of to back off what Prabhuji had just said, like when Srila Prabhupada came here, he didn't really even like know where to go, like left or right, like Prabhuji said. And I mean, if you think about that, even like any way, which way that Prabhupada did go, he was spreading Krishna consciousness like everywhere with him. And like you could like all of these devotees, like now devotees, like at that time, like they had such a huge impact. And you're like, as you were saying, like at the time they would be like kind of like the lowest in like the chain, like the social chain. And like the fact that they're like now huge devotees shows like the humongous impact Srila Prabhupada had, even like when he was in like such a foreign land, didn't even know where to go. So that was very inspiring. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, just to talk about the impact, when Prabhupada left the planet, he had built 108 temples. And these hippies became leaders of this 108 temples. And this was 50 years ago. Today, ISKCON has 850 centers. That has expanded. So that means these hippies, who so to say had no qualifications, not only maintained that 108 temples, but expanded it to 850. And if we kind of put it into context, ISKCON is the largest organization that is spreading Sanatan Dharma and preserving it. Like, if we compare it against any other spiritual organization that's worldwide, ISKCON is the largest by far. 850 centers. I don't know if any other organization has that huge of a number. So, thanks Sarah, thanks for sharing.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. This question is from Anusi Mataji. So she said, we have been to not mimic the acharyas, but to follow in their footsteps. How can we fallen souls follow the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada's humility?
Parikshit Prabhu, I will, since Mataji is asking that question, I'll hand it over to Parikshit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I kind of smiled a little bit when you said Parikshit Prabhu's answer to the question. Humility is the first thing in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna lists qualities that he says, if you imbibe those, you live that, you have knowledge. And outside of that is ignorance. Which that's, I think, chapter 13, texts 8 through 12. He listed that. 13, 8 through 12. So it's 5 texts together. Humility, he defined it though. He said, we shouldn't clamor to get recognition or respect from others. And then Lord Chaitanya also said in the Shastaka, Tunada Pisani Chena Teroriva Sahistuna Amani Namanadina Ketaniya Sadahari. To always be able to chant constantly, we have to be very humble and tolerant and give respect to others, but not expect respect for them. that last line, not expect respect for them, is the way Srila Prabhupada also defined humility in Bhagavad Gita. One should not clamor to get respect from others. So that is to the Shastra what humility is. But humility covers a lot of different areas. And that is something I myself am looking into. And at some point, this is the first time I'm letting this out, there may be a book from me about humility. And this is I'm begging my spiritual master and blessings of the devotees. I'm about 2/3 done with it. It's about humility. The title is Wearing the Cloak of Humility. So we'll see what happens. I'm just a servant. Hare Krishna.
Haribol. I hope that book gets published soon, Prabhu. Any other reflections?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for the very nice lecture and integrating the Srila Prabhupada memories. I think from even the title of the lecture itself, I think you can see or at least begin to understand why Srila Prabhupada was so extraordinary, because that combination of humility and greatness is unique to many people, because you can be, one person can be humble, but it's easy for somebody who really doesn't have much to offer to be humble, because they truly, they're just here, they're not really anything special. But on the other hand, if you have somebody who's very great, it's easy to just be great and then, be very puffed up and be like, I'm all that and like a bag of chips and stuff. So when you have humility and greatness together, it's not so much a contrast. Well, I guess it is sort of a contrast, but it's because they seem very contradictory, having them both in one person, like the one memory where they were saying all the acharyas in Prabhupada. I think even all those different aspects and like ideal qualities that are in the ideal devotee, they're all somehow summed up in one acharya in Srila Prabhupada. And I think that's one of the many things that makes him, as an individual, let alone as a pure devotee, extraordinary. So I liked that almost that, what's the word? When you have two words that...
Like dichotomy.
Dichotomy, yeah, thank you. So when you have that dichotomy in one person, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Actually, Indradyumna Maharaj once remarked about Prabhupada, like how Krishna is greater than the greatest and smaller than the smallest. He is the Karanadaksai Vishnu who is lying on the causal ocean creating millions of universes. But at the same time, he is tiny enough to enter each and every atom in this world. So Krishna is greater than the greatest and smaller than the smallest. So similarly, for a pure devotee, we see these contradictory characters. Like we see his greatness, but at the same time we see his humility. Sometimes we see Prabhupada as soft as a rose. And other times when he's chastising, he's as hard as a thunderbolt. Or when he has to get into a legal battle, especially with the Jew temple, he was like a warrior in the field. And other times, when he's talking with a small kid, he's having the innocence of a kid to cater to that small kid. So, so just like how Krishna contains all those qualities, similarly the pure devotee reflects the qualities of Krishna, and we can see that combination, unique combination. So what I'll do is, actually today is a very special day. Today is the disappearance of Jagannath Das Babaji. So when we were looking at the disciplic succession in our Bhagavad Gita, Jagannath Das Babaji comes at number 28. So those who have Bhagavad Gita, they can look it up. So Jagannath Das Babaji is one of our acharyas who comes in our disciplic line. And on the altar, he is the one beside the 6 Goswamis. So we see the 6 Goswamis, the picture at the very lowest step on the altar. The picture that is beside the 6 Goswamis is Jagannath Das Babaji, and today is his disappearance. So I'll just quickly cover a few of his pastimes, and then we can move on to the Arati. So Jagannath Das Babaji, as you can see in the word, there is the word Babaji. And Babaji is usually a title that's reserved for someone who has renounced all material possessions and chants. So here, as per Indradvina Maharaj, this lecture I prepared from Indradvina Maharaj's lecture, Babajis chant 300,000 names every day. So for us to get a sense of it, Babajis chant 192 rounds. So that means if we chant if it takes 5 minutes per round, it would take 16 hours to chant 192 rounds. So Jagannath Das Babaji used to chant 192 rounds every day, so 16 hours every day. So that's where his status was, that's where his position is. Here there was something very interesting that Indradvina Maharaj was sharing. Like the yogis in Himalayas, those who have all this mystic powers, they can walk on water or they can levitate in the air. So he was saying that the strength of the yogis are stored in their hair. That's why they tend to have long hair, stored in their hair. But the strength of these devotees who chant a lot of rounds, their strength is stored in their chanting beads. So it seems like the devotees' strengths are stored in their chanting beads. So that was kind of interesting, I saw. So Jagannath Das Babaji's, one of his biggest opulence, so to say, was actually his renunciation. He was a very renounced personality, as from the word Babaji. And just to give an example, during the Chaturmasya, in the first month, every day he used to take only 4 bananas. So in a day he'll eat only 4 bananas. In the second month of Chaturmasya, he would eat only guavas. In the third month of Chaturmasya, he will just drink a little water. And in the fourth month of Chaturmasya, he will eat only boiled banana leaves. So that's how renounced he was. Then Jagannath Das Babaji, according to the Shastras, according to the Gaudiya history, he took sannyas from Madhusudan Das Babaji. And there is a little bit about Madhusudan Das Babaji also, who was another great personality. It is said that Radha and Krishna had directly come to Madhusudan Das Babaji to prevent him from suicide. So there was this whole incident where he wanted to leave the planet, but Radha and Krishna directly came in Vrindavan to stop him from suicide. So that's how great of a personality Madhusudan Das Babaji was, who was the sannyas guru of Jagannath Das Babaji. And it is said that whenever Madhusudan Das Babaji used to give lecture in Vrindavan, a big python used to come to listen to his lectures. So every morning when he used to give Bhagavatam class, this python used to come, attend the whole Bhagavatam lecture, and then after that used to leave. So Madhusudan Das Babaji in his own right was a very big personality, and he was willing to give sannyas to Jagannath Das Babaji. So that gives us a little bit idea of how great Jagannath Das Babaji was, because Madhusudan Das Babaji was not going to choose any Tom, Dick and Harry to give sannyas. So then Jagannath Das Babaji meets Bhakti Vinod Thakur in 1880. So if we look at the Bhagavad Gita, the next after Jagannath Das Babaji is Bhakti Vinod Thakur in the line of the disciplic succession. So Jagannath Das Babaji is the guru of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Jagannath Das Babaji meet at 1880. And that's basically from when Bhakti Vinod Thakur started recording his life. His life before that meeting is not well recorded because there were not many historical recounts. But after meeting with Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he started to record that. And in fact, in the second meeting with Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he gave an instruction to Bhakti Vinod Thakur to preach Gaura's name in India and all over the world. So this is the inception. This is where the beginning is. So Jagannath Das Babaji told Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and then later we see that Bhakti Vinod Thakur instructs his son, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, who is just beside Prabhupada, to preach to the West. And then Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj gives that instruction to our Srila Prabhupada and who finally makes it happen. So, the inception happened long time back, and now it came to fruition. Then Bhakti Vinod Thakur gave a name to Jagannath Das Babaji, Sarvabhauma. Sarvabhauma means commander-in-chief of the Vaishnavas. So that was the position that Bhakti Vinod Thakur used to give Jagannath Das Babaji, as the commander-in-chief. Then there is one pastime. Jagannath Das Babaji had a deity which was out of bell metal, but when you polish it, it looks just like gold. So everyone in Vrindavan used to call it the Swarna Gauranga, the golden Lord Chaitanya. So once this fame started to spread about this golden Lord Chaitanya, once some thieves came to steal it. But when they stole this deity from Jagannath Das Babaji, literally after going 300 meters, they went blind and they started to get this very high fever. So they dropped the deity there and then they left. So, and it is said, the Acharya says that they got this fever because the deity started to feel separation from Jagannath Das Babaji. So they started to get this high fever. Then the very famous pastime in regards to Jagannath Das Babaji is the finding of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace. So those who have been to Mayapur, they know that the flow of the Ganga changes during the year. And even over a period of years, it keeps moving. So because of the Ganga moves in and out, the exact location of where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born was not exactly known at that point. So we are talking about the 1800s, late 1800s. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur wanted to find the exact location of the Yoga Peeth, or the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what used to happen is, on the Ganga, on one side of the Ganga, there used to be these pujaris, and they'll say like, oh, this is the birthplace. And so people used to think, okay, that's the birthplace, and he used to make a lot of business. And the pujaris on this side of Ganga used to say, no, this is the birthplace, and they used to make business. So that's why there was this whole struggle, and a lot of politics involved, of where the actual location was. And the pujaris, they wanted to only hold on to their position, not knowing where actually Lord Chaitanya was born. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur did a lot of research, looking through the maps. And then finally one night, when he was looking through the fields, because in the 1800s, Mayapur was mostly jungle. It's only now that Mayapur started developing under the leadership of ISKCON. So he started seeing in the jungle there was a palm tree, and this palm tree was radiating a lot of light. There was a special light around this palm tree. So when he went near that palm tree, he saw a lot of tulsi growing underneath that palm tree. So he knew immediately this was the exact location that he was looking for. But he needed an authority figure to confirm it. Now Jagannath Das Babaji lived up to 145 years. He had a very long life. And when this Yoga Peeth was being found, he was already above 100. So he being so old, he couldn't actually walk. So people used to carry him on a basket. His disciple used to carry on a basket because more than 100, his whole spine was bent and he was almost crippled. But the most ecstatic thing in this was, although normally he couldn't walk, when Bhakti Vinod Thakur carried him to that location, to that exact spot, he jumped out of the basket and started dancing. At that age of like 120 or something. Jagannath Das Babaji lived up to be 145. So then Bhakti Vinod Thakur knew exactly where the location was, and then the whole word spread like a wildfire and throughout Navadvip that that is the location. So all those pujaris who were making money out of cheating other people, they lost their business. And then there Bhakti Vinod Thakur built a temple for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that temple is still existing. So those who go to Mayapur, the ISKCON temple, literally it's like 5 to 10 minutes walk from that temple is the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's some of the pastimes of Jagannath Das Babaji. Jagannath Das Babaji ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Tagore Premanand.
Hare Krishna. Let me make one request to the devotees. And I'm speaking up because I know those that are doing what they're doing that I'm going to talk about don't know the proper way to handle some of the books. So Bhagavad Gita, when it gets given to you and you finish looking at it and you're not using it at the time the person is speaking, don't leave it on the floor. Do not. Put it in your lap, but the books, spiritual books should not be left on the floor. So I know everybody that was not aware that this is actually the proper way to do this. So I just wanted to inform the devotees. Hare Krishna.
So one quick announcement. So since we are honoring Jagannath Das Babaji today, so we'll be offering flowers. So we'll pass the flowers around and people can wash their hands and offer the flowers to Jagannath Das Babaji.
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Bando Moi Savadana Te. Bando Moi Savadana Mate. Jahar prasade bhai e bhavadoriya Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoy te माने आशा आरना करी हो माने आशा श्री गुरु चरण रति ऐसे काम गति श्री गुरु चरण रति ऐसे काम गति श्री गुरु चरण रति ऐसे काम गति जय प्रसाद पूरे सर्वा जय प्रसाद पूरे सर्वा आशा चक्षुदान दिल जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिल जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा जाते प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा जाते वेद गाय जहाँ चरित वेद गाय जहाँ चरित श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनार बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनार बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना हाँ हाँ प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया हरिबो 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 देह मोरे हाँ हाँ प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया ओ हाँ हाँ प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया हाँ हाँ प्रभु करो Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Gurudeva, 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 Jaya Gurudeva. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shundavadi Paschatya Deshatarine.
Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajikacharya Stotra Satasisi Maharaj Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Nityalila Prabhishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajikacharya Stotra Satasisi Maharaj Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakumar Prabhupada ki Ananda Koti Vaishnavindi ki Ramacharya Sri Haridas Thakur ki ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan ki Vrindavan Dham ki Mathura Dham ki Navadvip Dham ki Jagannathpuri Dham ki Ganga Mai ki Jamuna Mai ki Tulsi Devi ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Sri Jagannath Das Babaji disappearance Mahotsava ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Bhakti Vinod Singh Bhagwan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So the reason I am here is because Anusya Mataji is not well today. So we should chant one more time Hare Krishna so that we can pray for her good health. Yeah, that will be better, I think. The good health of Anusya Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. So we have a few announcements. So March 24th, that is Sunday, right? We have biggest festival of the year, Shri Gaur Purnima. Gaur Purnima ki jai. So although Mataji is not well, she was sending me text all the time. Her whole consciousness is towards the temple services. So I have all my notes here. So before we go to the details of the festival, anyone here for the first time in the temple? Okay. So regardless, we welcome all of you to today's Sunday feast program. Thank you so much for coming. So Gaur Purnima will be on Sunday, March 24th. The program will start sharp at 4:30 p.m. So what Gaur Purnima is? Appearance day, birthday of Lord Gauranga. So if, let's say, if we get invited to our boss's birthday, what time we will reach there? On time. If we are an ordinary employee. If we are going to be close with him, what will we do? Before time, right? We'll go there, we'll check with his relatives, how can I help in the set and everything, right? So please try to come before time and see how can you help, at least on that day. So the program will include bhajans, kirtans, abhishek of the deities. So Shri Gaurmata and Nitai Gaur Chandra will be coming on the abhishek altar. And this is the last time they will come in this year for the abhishekam. So last chance for us to do the abhishek before next year. So very, very auspicious and important occasion. So please make sure you save this date on your calendar and show up for the celebration. There will be some cultural performances by Sunday school kids also, some skits and some bhajan kirtan program. And when we go for a birthday party, what do we do? Do we go empty-handed or we go with some gifts, right? So don't come empty-handed. Please think about how can you serve Lord on that day. Few opportunities we have for sponsorships, birthday cake, personal Maha-Aarti, flower garlands, abhishek, altar decorations, Gaur Purnima, new dress. So Lord will be having the new dress on that day. Gauranga's feast, you can sponsor the feast also. And Chappan Bhog, you can also participate in the Chappan Bhoga for the Lord. So if you have any questions about Chappan Bhog, you can contact Varsha Mataji. She is here, I saw her. She is in the back, she is raising her hand. So you can contact her to sign up for the Chappan Bhoga. Thank you Mataji for that great service. Okay, so that is about Gaur Purnima. Any questions you have about the celebration, please see us, one of us who are roaming around. And also, very important announcement that due to Gaur Purnima preparations for the Lord, Nitai Gaur Chandra, darshan will be closed since from tomorrow, today till next Friday at least. Lord will be getting painted and decorated, so the daily darshan will not be available until coming Friday. And we will resume the darshan on next Saturday. One more request, we are short of hands for the cleaning services today, so if you can please help Vinod Gujaran Prabhu's team today, that would be great. I think Vinod Gujaran Prabhu is here. Yeah, he's here. I'm pretty sure he's here. So you can see Prabhu on the back. Prabhu, if you can raise your hand. Yes. And I will request all the youth, please see Manoj Bajrang Prabhu and see how we can help in the cleaning and other services today. So that's all for the announcement today. Thank you so much again, and Hare Krishna. We can have Prashadam prayer. Let's see. Rohin is closest to me.
Hare Krishna. Mahaprasade Govinde, Mahaprasade Govinde, Namo Brahmane Vaishnave, Namo Brahmane Vaishnave, Svalpa Punyavatam Rajan, Vishwasune Vajayate, Vishwasune Vajayate, Sharira Vidyajal, Sharira Jodendriya Dahekal, जीवे पहले विषय सागोरे, जीवे पहले विषय साग, तारा माते जीवायति, तारा माते जीवति, लोभोल मोय सुधर्मति, ताके जता कतिन संसारे, ताके जता कतिन संसारे, कृष्णा बारो दया मोय, कृष्णा बारो दया मोय, थोड़ी बारे जीवो जाए, स्वाप्रसाद हम दिलो भाई, स्वाप्रसाद हम दिलो भाई, सही अन्नमृत पाओ, सही राधा कृष्ण गुण गाओ, राधा कृष्ण गुण गाओ, प्रेमिता खुशी चैतन्य निताय, प्रेमिता चैतन्य निताय, जय निमाय जय निताय, जय निमाय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य, जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य, प्रभु नित्यानंद, प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर, श्री अद्वैत श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा, श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा, हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, कृष्णा हरे हरे राम, हरे राम, हरे राम, हरे राम, राम हरे हरे, राम हरे हरे। महाप्रसादम की जय, जय जय श्री राधे श्याम, जय जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे श्याम। Prashadam is served downstairs. Please take darshan of the deities. Hare Krishna.
And once again, please, if you are available for helping with the services, please see Gopal Prabhu. We really need some hands today. So, and also any sponsorship for the Gopal Festival, please see me.